So I hope it's recording. Okay. So, hey guys, what's up? What's up, everybody? It would be great if you could open up your cams, as I said earlier. So that it would be a much more interactive session. I'm not a lecturer, some kind of a like high profile guy. So that like this session can be more interactive if you keep your cameras on, so that I can see your reactions and I can like teach you some stuff. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So I guess we'll start the session. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So yes, like you can just keep the chat rolling in so that I can also see the chat, like while I'm sharing the screen too. Okay. So yeah. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Sudhanva Acharya, and I'm currently working as product designer at AthrV. So today we are kicking off our AthrV Explore series. So today we are starting off with UI UX design. That is one of the 4-part series that like we have gotten. So like that is one of the 4-part domains. So UI UX design is a very unique domain. It's a domain which actually picked up during the internet. Like if you're building products for the internet, you need UI UX design. Okay. So that is my introduction. So yeah. So now what are we going to learn in this session? So we are going to learn about introduction to UI UX design, design process, design tools, and Figma basics. So we are going to cover 4 different topics. Like one, give you a brief introduction about what UI UX design is and how it is impacting like building tech products. Second thing is design process, like how do you come up with a process to design a particular product, and then in order for you to follow that process, what kind of tools you want. So those are design tools, and at last I will be introducing you to a very important design tool that's called as Figma. Okay. So, and by the way, like I hope everyone have your notes, like you have kept it ready so that like you can make your own points. Yeah, like since these sessions are going to be in series, like I'm going to cover a lot more topics. Like initially I'll be starting with like introduction and like small things, and then I'll go in depth, so that if you have that notes, it would be very much useful for you guys. Okay. So I hope everyone have the notes and their pen and then everything. Cool. Okay. So before starting off, like that is what I wanted to say. Make sure you create your notes and note down your questions, because we are also going to have a FAQ session at the end and at the beginning also, like in the like in the intermediate in the session too. So now, before moving to that, I want to say that you can also share your learnings on the internet. So if you are building your own personal brand, and like if you want, like you might have entered into our introductory session and you might have heard, build your proof of work. Okay. So if you want to build, if you want to showcase that proof of work can also be showcased by sharing your learnings too. So if you feel these sessions are pretty useful for you, you can share this on internet. You can share it on your Twitter, Instagram, or like like wherever, like in the social media websites. And then the best post, if you tag us at AthrV, the best post will win our exclusive AthrV t-shirt. So this t-shirt you're going to win. So yeah, like this is the t-shirt that you're going to win, like for the best post, like that will post about your learnings on the internet. So that is a small contest for you guys. That's a small incentive. Okay. So now let me start off with what is UI UX. So what do you mean by UI UX? Like, have you heard about UI UX? Like, have you heard this term about like about UI UX? Like, you can just keep the chat rolling. You have heard, like, what is UI UX? Okay. So if you all don't know what is UI UX, UI UX, UI means user interface and UX means user experience. So that is a abbreviation, like that is just a, okay, like people have heard about your one UI, MIUI, okay, great. So all those are like OS, that is operating system software, like that is part, that is slightly different. So UI UX means user interface and user experience. So you're designing user interfaces and you're designing experiences, digital experiences for the users who are using your products. Okay. But to simplify it still more further, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say a factory, like this is an analogy. This is not like an exact, like meaning of UI. This is an analogy. So now let's consider a factory manufactures a blue color chair, okay. So the looks of the chair, that is the color of the chair, how good are the stitchings, how neatly it is done, the looks, the appearances can be classified into UI, that is interface, user interface. How the chair feels, how sturdy it is, how comfortable is it to sit on, all those feelings, all those experiences can be classified into user experience. So that is user interface and user experience in a much simpler manner. This is just an analogy for you guys to just understand what is UI and what is UX. So as we all know, design is not about now, like since you're like, I guess most of you are in your first years or like your second year, most of you guys might be thinking design is something about like creating attractive things, like let's say graphic design or fashion design. Design is not only about the visuals, okay, especially UI UX design. UI UX design is not only about the visual factor, just making it look wow, it's not the only thing. It is a part of the process, but the main thing is design is about solving problems. It is about solving day-to-day users problems with the help of design. Okay, as a product designer or as a UI UX designer, you are going to solve problems for the users. Now how are you going to solve problems? What are these problems? So let me just go to the next slides. So let me take a simple example of a problem, that is a nutrition tracking app. Like some of you guys might be fitness freaks, or like you might be guys going to the gym, so you want to track your nutrition. So how about, let's say a stakeholder gives you a problem statement, hey, like since you're working in UI UX design, I want you to design a nutrition tracking app, an app which can track how many calories you intake, what kind of nutrition, what kind of nutrients you intake into your body, and like simple stuff like that, and like track your whatever. Like it can become more complex too, but in the simplest sense, just tracking your like your daily intake. So in order to solve such a problem, now there might be infinite amount of solutions, right? There might be like, you can build, let's say, a web application, you can build a mobile application, you can do whatever the heck you want. Like you can also create like an app for your smartwatch. How to do it? Like there are like enormous amount of solutions. Like there are like enormous amount of possibilities, not solution. There are like enormous amount of possibilities. So now how to get to the right solution? For that, there is a process, just like, so that process is called as a design process. So now even for your math problem, you'll have that step-by-step process, right? Like you'll do like you also had that BODMAS rule, like that is bracket of division, addition, subtraction, whatever. So by coming through the steps, you solve a particular math problem. In a similar fashion, here to solve that problem, you have a design process. As a UI UX designer, you need to follow certain process. Okay, what do you mean by design process? A design process is a process which states how to approach a problem and to arrive at the solution. So there are like different steps in the design process. Now this is not fixed, like there is nothing fixed in design. You can break whatever you want, but as a beginner you need to know these 6 different steps, and these are like some of the basic steps. Okay. So these 6 steps are research, information architecture, wireframe, visual design, prototyping, and developer handoff. Once again, research, information architecture, wireframe, visual design, prototyping, and developer handoff. Now, I'm going to go in depth in all these small little steps, like what is research, what is information architecture. Okay, so research. Now, your problem statement was, like for you to design a nutrition tracking app, right? So first thing that that comes to your mind is, okay, what kind of problems are user actually facing? Like what and all use cases are there for this particular product? Let's assume that you're building like a nutrition tracking app for your mobile. It's a iOS or Android application. So what kind of users I need to target? The user might be, like gym going people, or like who are like fitness freaks, and then what kind of features they want. Okay, so all these information can be got by through following something called as a research. Research is a very huge topic, but for the like for this particular session, I'm going to give you a very simple example of how you can actually conduct a research. Now, nutrition tracking app, like for every solution there has all sorry for every problem there has already been a solution that has been attempted. Okay, for let's say like you take a payment solution. Okay, like there are GPay, Paytm, there is Phone Pay. Yeah, like there are like n number of products that have already been built. So simplest way for you to get started into design is, like, now since I've said nutrition tracking app, you're going to go to your Android store or Play Store or App Store, and then you're going to download similar kind of apps and see what kind of features are there. You're going to read through reviews, like you're going to talk to the community, like you're going to hang out with people like gym freaks, and then ask what kind of features they want and what kind of problems they are actually facing. So this research, like the amount of data that you collect, will create a base for you to go to the next step. Now in the research there are like multiple different directions that you can take. So I'm not going to overcomplicate in this session. I'm just going to give you a brief idea about all these steps. So in the research, as I've said, you can collect all the data and then you have a set amount of base. Now, okay, like I want this feature, that there should be a login. There should be, like a section wherein I can input my calorie intake. So, like stuff like that. So next comes information architecture. Now you have a bulk of information. Now you need to structure the information into a map. Okay, that is an information architecture map. How you're going to do this? Now, in simple fashion, what you're going to hey guys, is the screen visible? Is the screen visible? Can anyone message in the chat? Okay, like, are you seeing the information architecture screen? Yeah, okay, thanks guys. Like my okay, cool, thank you. Okay, so regarding the information architecture, as I was saying, information architecture is about creating, like the user journey. Okay, so like you're going to create a user journey map. For example, when somebody downloads the app, what is the first screen that should be visible for them? Onboarding, setting the goals, like reaching goals, and then simple tracking. So that kind of flow that you want the users to take in your app, that you're going to map it out in a simple flow chart. That is called as an information architecture. This will further down, like this will make your ideas much more clearer as you move ahead. Okay, so let me go to the next thing, that is wireframes. So after you've created your map, after you've created your flow chart, next thing is you need to create your wireframes. Okay, what is wireframes? Now you might be wondering, like, I've been just collecting information, I'm not even designing anything. In this step, you are actually going to start your design. Okay, simplest fashion would be to start with a pen and paper. that you're just simply going to draw boxes on your paper, okay, rather than actual designing tool like Figma or Sketch or whatever, Photoshop. You're going to start with pen and paper. Why is that? Like, why you have to create like pen and paper? Like, why can't I just start away right away with the designing, like like on the platforms? The reason is that you need to have something called as iterations. Okay, design process is not about getting a right solution at the first step itself. You're never going to get a right solution immediately. You're going to get it after multiple iterations, after multiple feedbacks, stakeholder feedback, meetings, and everything. So in order for you to quickly iterate, wireframes is a step where you can quickly iterate your ideas. Like, you can quickly change your ideas. Like, if you're, let's say you're designing on like a platform, if you're designing on a platform, you need like the speed at which you can do those kind of iterations is very much slow. Yeah. But if you're doing it on a pen and paper, you can just quickly scribble it down. So there are like two kinds of wireframes that you can do in this step. One is called as low fidelity wireframes. Second is called as high fidelity wireframes. Low fidelity wireframes, as I've introduced you right now, and as you can see here, it's just a paper, and then you would just draw boxes on the paper, and then you like to signify, okay, this is status bar, this is the iteration illustration. Okay, like these are some of the icons, like here there is an example of sign up screen. Like, you can give continue with Facebook, continue with mail, and stuff like that. Then you can move to something called as high fidelity. That is, you actually move to a design tool, and then there also you draw boxes before getting into color, typography, what kind of font you want to use, and what kind of spacing you want to use. That step, those kind of decisions you're going to take in the next step called as visual design. Finally, right now, when you got the clarity and when you have a certain amount of clarity, now you enter into visual design process. Okay, that is actually designing screens, actually giving colors to your screens or to your apps. Now you're going to think about what kind of font I want to use, like what kind of design style I want to use. Okay, this is called as visual design. You are converting your wireframes into actual looking screens. Okay, here also you have to do multiple iterations. You can't, like, remember this, your first iteration will always be shitty. it is upon like multiple iterations, then only you're going to get a good looking screen or a good looking app. Okay, so this is where iteration plays a very important role. So after your visual after you have done your visual design, now you can create something called as prototyping. You can create a mock-up which actually resembles a finished product. Okay, you can give it away for your stakeholders, or you had been talking to your users, right? You can give it to those kind of users, and then they can tap, and then they can see, okay, like this is the product, dude, like what kind of feedback you want to give. This is where you can collect all the feedbacks from your users and from your stakeholders, and then you can go back to the steps, and then you can reiterate on the things. So this step is called as prototyping. Prototyping is what it will mimic up to 90% of your real app. Okay, so now at last, now you've finalized your design, now you have done your design. Now the last step is developer handoff. Now, if you're building internet products, there are two key persons important. Like, there are like multiple stakeholders, and like everyone like involved in your designing thing. But two important people are, one is product designer, one is like who will do the decisions and like who will come up with the features and everything, and second is your developer, who will actually give life to your designs. So in this step, what you're going to do is you're going to sit with your developer, and then you're going to tell like what kind of font you need to use, like what kind of spacing you need to use, so that he can get to know about all those information, and he can start developing it. He can start developing it on his own platform, like Android Studio or like Sketch or whatever. Not Sketch, Android Studio, Swift. Sorry, it's Swift or like Swift for iOS or like whatever. So this step is very important. This step is called a developer handoff. Okay. So now you might be wondering, like, isn't this a very lengthy process, dude? Like, why I have to do this? Like, why can't I just like I have an idea, I'll just simply go ahead with the platform and I'll just design it right away. Why it is even required? Why it is required is, in the initial point of time, like, like when I said, like, dude, like, design a nutrition tracking app, you'll have like enormous amount of possibilities. The possibilities will be very huge. At the start of the design process, you will have n number of possibilities, and as you get through the process, your ideas and your possibilities get filtered on, filtered on, filtered on, filtered on. Like at the start, there will be huge possibilities. Research, like, you'll just filter it down, wireframe, visual design, and once again, like, you can like go back, iterate, and whatever, and ultimately you'll get a finished product. That is what helps you in a design process. Okay, that is why design process is very much useful. Okay, so now you might be wondering, like, where to design, right? You told about visual design, like you told about typography, font, spacing. Like, where actually can I document my research, where I can, like, do my visual design? So there are like multiple different softwares in the market. There is Photoshop, there is Sketch, there is Figma, there is Adobe XD. Now, we at AthrV-Ed personally use Figma. We love Figma. There are like multiple reasons why we love Figma. Figma is by the way, freemium software. It is free for students though. Like, you can apply for a student license and you can get it for free. Like, even in the free plan also, like, you can try out different features and all. Okay. So why Figma? Figma is especially very easy to start with. Like, if you have any, like, any relatable idea about Photoshop, you might be one, like, Photoshop is a bigger tool. Like, it is not even designed for designing, like UI UX design. It is not like, when the Photoshop is being built, like, they didn't kept UI UX designers in mind, because there are like n number of possibilities. Okay, so Figma is a very, very easy tool. You can pick it up within a day or two of practice. Okay, so that is the first reason why Figma is useful. And second thing is, other tools are all file based, Figma is account based. Now, what do you mean by this is, you can have real collaboration. You can have a lot of your team members come at the same point and then start working together. That is a superpower, because design is a collaborative process. It is not done by only one single person. You have to have multiple collaborators. So Figma is like, you can just share your link, like share your Figma link, like, to your other teammates, so that they can hop on into your file and then they can start designing with you in real time. So that is the superpower of Figma. So that is why we use Figma. So now I'm also going to introduce you to this software, Figma, by designing like a sign up screen. So before moving ahead, if you have any questions, you can ask them right away. And yeah, guys, if you have any questions, you can ask it right away. Okay, so I'll unmute. Okay, you can unmute also right now, like right now, and then you can ask. Yes, Tanisha, go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this explanation. It was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So at the start, you said that UI and UX, and you gave an example of chair. So I wanted to ask, if what is the role of product design in that then? If UI UX are looking at the form feature at UI part and UX is looking at the experience part, then what do product designers do if they are told to design a chair? Like, how is it different from UI UX?
Okay. See, in the internet, like if you're in the tech industry, product designer and UI UX designer is the same. Like, people use it, like, they'll switch. Like, for some people they'll call UI UX designers, and like for some people they'll call as product designers. Like product designers, like, if they're thinking about the business aspects. For example, if like, let's say that they build a feature to particularly boost, like like a company car metric. Okay, like, for example, let's say now they design some kind of feature. In the, like, while designing that feature, like, instead of just keeping users in mind, they'll also keep company in mind. Like, what kind of revenue generation can this feature give? So if they are thinking about the business aspects of it, then as a complete package, like, that is the work of a product designer. Now, product designer in the chair manufacturing sense, it's like it's a mechanical role, like it's completely different from this like this domain. Like those product designers use SolidWorks, and like they are completely different from what like UI UX designers in the tech do. So like they are different. I gave an example just to give an analogy. Like that is like not exactly, like I want to just simplify the term UI UX. Like that is the reason why I gave you that example. I hope
Okay.
like that is clear.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, like anyone, any questions? If you don't have any questions, like you can press +1 on the chat, like understood, so that I can move to the Figma. Like I can show you how Figma works.
Hi there.
Hey.
I wanted to ask more about the prototype section.
Yeah. Okay.
What exactly do we use for the prototype?
Yeah. So like for the entire design process, like starting from research, information architecture, wireframing, visual design, prototyping, you can use only one tool, that is Figma. It's like L'Oreal Palace, 5 problems, 1 solution. Like I'm going to show how prototyping works in the further sessions, because prototyping is not that important right away. Prototyping just like it is a process where it mimics an actual product. Like you get like let's say that you've designed multiple screens, just connecting different screens, and then you're giving it to a user, so that when the user taps, let's say, a particular UI element, it moves to the next screen. It is just mimicking. In the backend, it's not actually doing anything. It's just mimicking an actual product. That's it. So prototyping, you can do it on Figma. That I'm going to show you like as we move ahead in the session, like in the series.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, like we can take it at the end also. So now let me move on to Figma. Okay. 1 second. I'm going to. Okay, guys. So is Figma visible? Can anyone? Once again, I've muted you guys. Yeah. Can anyone say like, is Figma visible or something? Because I can't see the chat.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. So Figma, as I said, Figma is a wonderful tool. Okay, wait. Okay, I'll just move this below. Okay. So Figma is a wonderful tool like to use. Figma is what we also use at the company, AthrV-Ed. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Like, sorry for that interruption. Okay, so Figma, as I was saying, so Figma is a really good software. So you go now, how to download Figma? You can just like open up your Google Chrome, just type in Figma, and then you can download it right away. So yeah, now if you open Figma, you will land on this home screen. Okay, like you'll land on this home screen. So here, there are like 2 options over here. It's just loading. So there are 2 options. One is you can create a design file, and second, you can create something called as FigJam, which is particularly useful if you are doing some research on information architecture. But for this session purpose, I'm just going to create a new file. So if you also just click on plus icon here, so yeah, like so you can just create a new file like that. Okay. Okay. So what you have to do is like you have to just click on new design file, and then a new design file opens up, and it works similarly to like it works similarly to Google Chrome, like tabs. And this is also like browser based platform too, like you can also use it like in the browser. Okay, so now let me just move this over here. Okay, So now this is how the design looks like the Figma software looks like. Here I've already added like 2 images. So now this is an infinite canvas, like where you can add your design, where you can add your screens and whatever. In the left tab, there is a layers panel. Okay. So you can also resize these tabs. So there's a layers panel, and the right side, there is design tab, which I'm going to give further details about it. And in the top, there is like your tool tab, like here, this is the move tool where you can just simply move. If you want to pan around, you have to just click on like your scroll wheel, and then you can pan around like this. Okay, anywhere you can pan around. Yes, is the screen visible, right? Screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so here there is move tool, there is frame, there is all the shape tools, pen tool, text tool, and then there are like hand tool and whatever. So now let me, like in this session, I'm just going to recreate these 2 screens for you guys. Okay, this is a screen, this is a login screen from Twitter. Okay, so now how to create a screen. Now this is pages, like you can create multiple pages within the same file. Okay, so this is pages, like you can just click on this plus icon, and here are the 2 layers that I've already added, like 2 Twitter images. Okay, now how to start designing. Like now in the visual design process, what you have to do is you have to click on this frame tool. That is, if you just type F on your keyboard, or like you can just click on this icon, you're going to get multiple presets over here. Like there are presets for phone, for tablet, for desktop, for presentation, watch, paper, social media, whatever. So now this is an Android screen. So I'm just going to click on phone. And then as a rule of thumb, you have to design from a smallest screen size. Okay, this is a rule of thumb. I'm going to explain why, like what is the technicality of it in the later sessions, but as a rule of thumb, you need to design for a smallest screen size possible. For iPhone, like since this is an iOS app, I'm just going to select iPhones. Okay, smallest screen size is obviously iPhone 8, but since like a lot of people have moved into iPhone 10, or like iPhone 10 and iPhone 11 Pro has the same artboard size. So I'm just going to click on this. Okay, so now it created a frame for me. So what is a frame? Frame is similar to an artboard. So you can move your frame like this. So I'm going to move it over here. Cool. Okay, I'm also going to resize it. Now how to resize it? You can just come to this corner, and then you can hold shift on your keyboard for proportional resizing. Then you can just resize. This is just for like for me to just like reference it. That's it. Okay, so now how to name your layers? You can just double click on this name, double click, and then you can start typing. I'll just call it as, let's say, Twitter splash screen. Okay, got it. So now this is Twitter splash screen. Now I want to get this blue color. Now how do I get it? Click on this frame, and then there are like multiple options over here. This is the frame, like this X and Y is the X and Y directions in the canvas. This is not like consistently used. This is like for the orientation, like whether you want it like in the landscape or the portrait mode. And then this is the width and the height. Don't change it because this is a preset. Height you can obviously change. Width, like don't change it. Angle, the angle, and this is the corner radius. Okay. So now if I want to change the color, I'll just come to fill. Okay. So I'm just going to click here, and then there is like there is this eyedropper to icon. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to just pick this color. Cool. So I picked it color. So now I want this Twitter logo. So like logos, icons, and all, like you can get it for free in the internet. You can just search for like free pick icons. You can get it for free. Just Google it out, like Twitter icon, like Google icon, Apple icon, and all. So I have already downloaded it. So if I want to import assets, or like if I want to import images and assets into the file, what I have to do is just go to this main menu, file, place image. Okay. So I'll go to place image, and then let's say I'll go to Twitter logo, and then I'll drop it. Okay, done. So now Twitter logo, obviously it's in blue color. Now I'll make a duplicate of this because I also want it over here. Now, how to make it a duplicate? You can do Control D, or you can press Alt on your keyboard, Alt or Option in Mac if you're using Mac, and then you have to just drag it like this. Okay, like you can also do Control D if you want. That also duplicates. As you can see, okay, so this happens in layers. So now, what is a layer? Layer is nothing but, if you have worked with any design software, like you might know like how the layer system works. Now let's say that there are like multiple like layers. Like for example, let's say that I've added a rectangle, I've added a star. So now if I want the star to come over the rectangle, I have to just place it above here. So now like all those details, like I'm going to give it later. Okay, 1 second. So now I'll just bring it over here, and then selection colors, I'm going to make it white because I want that to be visible. Now, how to resize it? As I said, you can obviously like come and then like do like this. Holding Shift will give you that proportional editing. So now, for now, I'm just going to randomly like give some size, like good size, let's say. And then now I want to align this to the center. Now there are multiple ways. You can just drag it, and then you get these red lines. So these are like your guides. Okay, that is automatically like that will help you to align things. Or if you want to do it like in a quickest manner, you can also use this align tab. There is left align, horizontal, right align, align to the top. Let's say I click on align to the top, center align. So like this is how you can align things. Okay, now so now the splash screen is done. This thing like that is like it is a UI element from the iOS itself. Like Apple adds it like into their OS. Okay, so now I want to create this another screen. So I'll just move this below. Okay, so now how to create this another screen? So I'll press F on the keyboard. I'll do the same thing once again. I'll bring in the frame. Okay, and then I'm going to rename it into Twitter. What's it? Sign up. Okay, so naming your layers is a pretty good thing. So now it's under FFFFF, that is pure white. So now how do you get this status bar and all? Like there is a file that is like that you can get it for free in the Figma community too. Like there are like iOS 16 UI kits. So like how you can get it is like you need to go to the community tab in the Figma and then search for like UI kits, like Android UI kit, iOS UI kit, and then just duplicate. And then like you can just go here and then just copy paste. So now I'll just import this tab, let's say status bar. Okay, so now I'll just align this to the top and center. Okay, done. So now I have my status bar. You need not like design all the status bar because those are like UI elements from the OS itself. So now I'm also going to like import like this Twitter icon into this file. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now I have my Twitter icon over here. So you can also like see what the spacing and all, like you can also mimic it. So since this is the first session, I'm just going to keep it randomly. And then how to check for spaces. So now spacing between the elements, if you want to check it, you have to press Alt on your keyboard, like select one element, press Alt on your keyboard, and then you're going to get the space from the element to the nearest boundary where your cursor is pointing. Now the cursor is pointing in the frame randomly, so it is giving the distance from the element to the edge of the frame. Now, if I want to check the distance from the Twitter icon to the status bar that I've already imported, I can just move over here so that I can see, okay, it is 11 pixels. Now, how to move? You can obviously like drag it and then move. Like a quicker way of moving things is like by using your like arrow key like in your keyboard. You can also like do it like multiple times. If you want to do it faster, you can hold shift and then arrow key, so that like that will give you 10 pixels down. Now let's say it is 14, so I'll make it 24, 34, 44. So you have to just hold shift on your keyboard and then like that arrow button, so that like you can just jump like 10 pixels ahead. Okay, so now I'll just keep it a nice number around 14. Okay, so now for the font. So obviously, like when you're copying things, like you can check out what font Twitter uses. So I already checked it out, and it was SF Pro Display. So now all these fonts are pre-installed. So all these fonts, like you can also install your own fonts, like from your laptop, and then all those local fonts are also going to appear. So now this is a font finder. Now Figma auto installs all the Google fonts out there in the internet for you. So if you want any custom fonts, like SF Pro Display is a custom font because it's an iOS font. So for font downloading, like you can just download it from Google straight away, and then like it will auto down like install into Figma for you. So now this is the font that I'm using, that is SF Pro Display. This is the weight of the font, medium, regular, bold, heavy, and whatever. So since like this looks, let's say heavy, okay. So this is the size, like this is the font size. I'm going to give it, let's say a good number, 23. And this is the spacing. Okay. I'm going to, I don't know why it's coming. Okay. So now let's type in. Now, in order for you to type in, you can just type in, see what's happening in the world right now. Okay. So now why you can't see these things are like, because it is in the frame. As you can see in the layers panel, it is within the Twitter sign up frame. So like you can just drag it so that you can see the starting word, let's say the starting word. And in order for you to resize it, you can just come here and then drag this handle. Let's say I just resize it. Now this is obviously in left aligned. So I'm just going to left align this text. I feel 33 is too big for this. I'll give, let's say 28. Now how you can decide these kind of things, like let's say the spacing or like the font size or like the font color. Now simple thing, like I'm going to go in depth in the coming session, but the simple thing is like you can just copy apps, like what I'm doing right now. Just take a screenshot of, let's say, of your favorite app, and then try to replicate it in your design tool. Like that is how you develop the design intuition. That is how you develop a taste for good design. More in detail, like in the coming sessions. Okay, so and the color is obviously not too black. It's something. So how to zoom in? For zooming in, you can just hold Control on your keyboard, and then you scroll up will zoom in, scroll back will zoom out. Okay, scroll up, scroll in, and then this cursor like will point at what point you want to zoom in. Okay, so I'll just zoom in into this. Okay, so it's some color, let's say 10 whatever. So I'll make it still more smaller, let's say 26, and then I'm going to place it over here. In 26 is little small, 27 maybe, 28. Okay, and then this is the like the line height. Okay, line height, you can, as a thumb rule, as a good thumb rule, you can give it, let's say 130%. What does 130% means? Is it is like 130% of the font size. It's like 130% of 28. That is the amount of pixels gap it is going to give per line. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to give, as a good rule of thumb, you can give from 120% to 150%, not beyond that, or not be, or like not below like 120. Okay, so now I have just given it like 130%. Okay, now how to create these buttons? So here I'm just going to like just trace it so that it will be very much useful for us. So now creating a button, there are like n number of ways. As you move ahead in your career, you can like, for creating a simple button, there are like n number of ways, but the simplest form I'm going to show this like in this session. So now go to this rectangle tool, like that is the shape tool. Like here you have multiple shapes: rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, star, whatever. So since this is a button, I'll just choose a rectangle tool, and then I'm just going to draw a box. Okay, just to get the size right. zoom in and just try to get the size right. Okay. Okay. So now I think I have got the size right somehow. Okay. So I'm just now this also has a corner radius. Now this is a round button, so you can give some crazy number. Now if you give 8 and all, like what will happen is like it will be very small. The corner radius. Corner radius means this one. Okay. So now since this is a round button, you can give some crazy number. Let's say 1000. Okay. So right. So now obviously this is a white button, so I'm going to give it white, and then I'm going to give it a stroke. So stroke like the outer stroke, and then the stroke color. I'm just going to zoom in just to pick that color. And done. So here is my basic button that I've done. I'm going to import it to this file. Okay. So now I have imported my button. Now I need text. I'm just going to type in. I can also do that tracing thing, like just typing over the screen. But since time is running up, I'm just going to type in. Okay. So Google. So now obviously the font size is very small. I'm just going to give, let's say 18 or 20 looks good. Okay. And I'm going to move it over here. Okay. Okay. 18 was good, I guess. Okay. And then, okay. So now it is within the button. So there is also like this Google icon. So I'm also going to import it. Okay. To import, I'll just go to file, place image, or else use this hotkey, that is Control-Shift-K. Okay. So there's Google icon. Okay. So here is the Google icon. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to place it over here. Okay. So now the spacing between the Google icon and the outer button is around 28. I can give it, let's say 32. The spacing between text and the Google icon, I think you can give good number. Like it's a good habit to give around a multiple of certain number. Designers, as a thumb rule, you can give it like multiple of good number like 4, 6, 8. Okay. So I use 4. Like a lot of designers use multiple of 4. So yeah, like 4, 8, 16, 12, 24, like stuff like that. Okay. So now in order for you to move this button, like let's say you move this button, like all these elements should also move, right? So now how you can group it? So if you want to group like elements, what you can do is like you can just shift select all the elements that you want to group. Okay. So now here also, okay, shift selecting all the elements that I want to group. And then I'm going to right click on this, and then I can do like a group, or else what I can do is I can do something called as Control G. Okay. Control G groups things. Okay. Control G. So I'm also going to rename it. Now to rename it, you can just double tap on the group name and then rename it. Let's say it is Google button. Okay, done. So now I have my Google button. Okay. It's not heavy, I guess. I think it's bold something. Okay, done. So now this Google button, I'm going to center align this. And then in order for me to create this Apple, like continue with Apple, now instead of like redoing it, what you can do this, like you can just duplicate this entire group itself. That is a much faster way for you like to create multiple buttons. Now for you to duplicate, you can do Control D, or you can press Alt on your keyboard and then drag it. Holding Shift will restrict the movement in one axis, or else it will move like in whichever direction it wants to move. So just holding Alt on your keyboard and then dragging it down. Okay. And by holding Shift, just to restrict it in the y-axis, like the movement in the y-axis. So now spacing between the buttons, I'm going to give it, let's say 12. Okay. I'm going to change this, continue with Apple. Done. So now in order for me to change this logo, once again, you can delete this and then you can import it. Quicker method, pro tip for you, like is to just click on this. Okay. It can't happen. Okay. It's fine. So now like you can just click on this group and then can go to file, place image. And then I'm going to import Apple. Okay, done. So now in order for you to select that, you can just double tap and then that gets selected. And then basically like align it. Done. So here are my two, like, let's say buttons that I have, continue with Apple and continue with Google. Now there is also like or, and then there is like a stroke here. So that is simple to create. I'm just going to type in, let's say, or, give it, let's say, a very tiny font size, let's say 11. And then I'm going to give this color. So now I hope like you get the idea, right? You get what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to make it medium, center aligned, and how to create this this thing. You can go to, let's say, shape tool and then line, and just create a line. Sorry. Just hold and drag it so that it creates a line for you. Okay, done. So now color of it is obviously this one. Okay. So now copying that to my frame. Okay, and then center lining it. Okay, and then duplicating it by holding Alt on your keyboard and then to the other side. Duplicating it and then grouping things. Grouping these three elements, Control G. Done. Okay. So now this, I think it is of higher font size, maybe 12. Okay, maybe 12. Yeah, done. So for this, the similar fashion, I can just duplicate the entire button over here. Give this smaller spacing, let's say 8 or 4. I think 8 would look good. And then obviously there's no Apple logo. And this is going to be in center to the container. And by the way, I have to rename this, right? So I'll rename, let's say, Apple. I'll rename this into sign up. Sign up. Done. Okay. So now I'm going to remove the stroke. There is only fill. I'm just going to click on this plus icon just to hit the fill. I'm going to take this color. Okay. So now there is my text. So text is going to be pure white. I'm going to keep pure white. Now I can give, say, create account. Now this is not exact accurate like to that screen, but like you get the point, right? So maybe it's not 18, like it's not the exact font also, like all those things also matter when you're duplicating things. Okay, now how to create this small thing over here? Like I can once again just start typing, let's say by signing up. You agree to our terms, privacy policy, and cookie use. Now, how are you going to decide all these things? You're going to decide by using your design process. Okay. I hope like that stays in your mind. This is not like you can't directly jump to this and like start doing it, because there are like multiple decisions you have to take, right? So obviously, so I'm going to, let's say, 14. Akshu, like, can you unmute? Thanks. Okay. Make it 15 and then medium. The color of this can be this one. Now, obviously, like the terms and conditions and the cookie use is in blue color. Now, how to do that? It's obviously not in medium, so I think it's regular. Okay. So now, how to do that? Can just select, whichever text you want. Okay. Let's say that I select up to privacy policy. This also gives you that color option. Like you can have multiple colors within the same text like this. Cookie use, you can also use this same. Okay, done. So yeah. So I'm going to center line this, maybe move this. on top. Just give me a little spacing over here. Okay, I'm also going to move this somewhere here, give it 28. And then finally, we have a small thing that is have an account. I can also duplicate the entire text. You can duplicate any element in the design. So have an account already, login. Okay, so now this is obviously in smaller font size, so maybe 13, and then select this login text and then give it a blue color. Yeah, just like that. So I can also just like this is the auto width. You can also click on this so that like the entire text container like just snaps according to the text width. So yeah, that's it, people. You can also like right align these things. That's it. Like you can go on like refining things. You can do whatever you want. So these are my iterations. So this is my thing with replicating. So this is the like the original screenshots, and this is the replicated screen. So I hope this gives you a brief introduction of how to use a Figma tool. Now I'm also going to share this file so that you can jump in right away, and then you can also do stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to give view access for now, and then you can obviously give copy link. So I'm going to copy link so that okay. So now coming back. Okay. So this is the Figma file that I have. So I guess like if you have already a Figma account, you can just jump in right away and then can start using it. So yeah, so that's it for this session. I hope I have covered a lot of topics today. I've covered a lot of topics about UI UX, about introduction, Figma, and then everything. So yeah, shoot a question, guys. So that's it for this session. So how was it? You can also give feedback to these sessions. You can also type your session in the chat. What should be the minimum and maximum font size? There is no maximum as such. Minimum there is. You cannot go below 11 pixels, because 11 pixels below, like you can't like see, like the user can't look into the app. Is this feature also available here? Like after if we continue Google button, new interface should be open. Yeah. Like that is exactly called as prototyping, Saurabh. Like when you create those multiple screens, you can just like let's say like you can decide, like let's say a user clicks on this button, he need to go to this screen. That's called as prototyping. But like giving life to the entire design, that is done by a developer. This is just design. This is just front end. Nothing is happening back end. There is no understanding of for the software that okay, like this is the sign up button, this is that, this is this. It is just screens. Life is going to be provided by a developer. Also, what should be the minimum maximum line height? Okay, minimum is 120%, maximum line height is 150%. That's it. Okay, yeah guys. So how was it guys? I hope there was no interruptions, or like there was. Yeah, I'll just allow you to unmute. Okay, like you can also unmute yourself, and then you can start asking your questions right away. So how did you feel? How was this session? And by the way, like don't forget to share your learnings on the internet if you want to win this t-shirt. Okay, so I guess, so how was it? Like what new things did you learn? Like did you know these topics, or else was this completely new? Just like let's have a general chat also. Nobody's answering, dude. It was real education. Thank you, Abid Mohammed. Thank you for that. Guys, like you can unmute, you can open up your cams. Just feel free, guys. Like it's not like let's say like a lecture session. I was always interested in UI UX design, but didn't know where to access. You come to the right place, dude. like you can also get videos on internet. Designers are also starting to teach students. There are like popular designers like Abhinav Chikara, Chetan KVS. So like you can also start by looking at them. Amazing session. Got to know. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tanisha. So yeah, guys. Thank you for all your wonderful feedback. So if you have any critical feedback, you can also put it on in the comments so that I can like rectify it in the next session. Where should we post our work? Like by the way, like I didn't say you how to post your work. How you can post your work is you can use your social media platforms. Okay, that is Twitter, Facebook. Then what is there? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then tag us. Like we have our socials on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can tag us at @AthrV or at AthrV-Ed. I'm going to give at @AthrV. Okay, like this is a okay. Sorry, I'm giving at @AthrV. Okay. So can you please repeat the YouTubers' names? YouTuber name is Abhinav Chikara. Okay, or Abnux, ABNUX. You can just type in. There's also Design Pilot. So like there are like multiple different designers who are actually teaching right now. Okay, guys. So how was it? Like, don't forget to share your learnings. So after you share your after you put like whatever your learnings, just tag us so that we know that you have actually posted it. Okay, like that is a proof for us. So yeah, hop on to our community too. I guess like are there any R people in the room? I hope like R people to put in the community link, invite link. You can also request for the community link from our website. So we have a Discord community where you can like further like this discussion need not be just only 1 hour like per weekend or like whatever. You can just hop into the community, talk with us, chat with us. Like if you have done any designs, you can seek for feedback. You can also ask any questions if you want. Like you can actually interact with a lot of people. So we have around 300-400 people in the Discord community, so you can interact with them all. So yeah, like this is the first session, episode 1 of UI UX design. We have a lot more sessions coming soon. We have sessions on web app development, app development, no code. No code is a very interesting thing. I think not a lot of people is talking about that. So we are going to showcase how you can use the power of no code. So I'm going to stop the recording right now.